So is solving obesity really just as simple as eating less calories? Well, we're going to explore that today. So I saw a video, a reel actually, right, where it was Greg Doucette and Myron Gaines. You know, there was like a side of fit individuals, and then on the other side were unfit individuals.
Shame is what led me to an eating disorder.
Whose fault
when
is that,
what
though?
we're looking for is
Whose fault is that?
stability.
That's your fault. See, the
an
problem is that you're a
amalgamation.
professional victim.
Would you agree, like, looking at his physique, like, he's at a perfectly, I would say, maybe healthy,
No,
you think?
he's definitely overweight, definitely obese.
And it seems that the unfit individuals believed that being out of shape was as attractive or more attractive than being in shape, which is completely ridiculous. It's not. So there was this part of it where Myron was telling the individual, you know, that one of the individuals was saying, well, you know, some people have some, you know, emotional or stress or traumatic things that they've gone through, and the eating is, you know, how they coped with it. And then Myron says, oh, you know, boo-hoo, you know, enough with your sob story, just eat less calories. Okay, so who's right here? They're both right. That's the thing. The thing is, it is as simple as reducing your calories physiologically. Practically, it's not that simple. Okay? So I've learned this from coaching hundreds of obese individuals over the last 10 years. From the perspective of someone who has eaten well pretty much their entire life, has exercised pretty much their entire life, you know, like Greg Doucette, like Myron, it's quite easy to just tell someone, well, you just need to eat less calories, because we're not dealing with the side effects of making that drastic lifestyle change. So what I've noticed by coaching a lot of obese individuals is that simply restricting their calories and putting them on this diet that, you know, me, Myron, and Greg probably have no problem with, is a substantial life change for them. To me, Greg and Myron, this is nothing. We've been eating this way, you know, forever. It's quite easy. We're used to it. We also don't use food as a coping mechanism for trauma, stress, emotional stress, things like that. So here's where the problem is. The problem is people who are obese are getting advice from people who have diet and eating correctly come easy to them. So while physiologically, Greg, Myron, yeah, they're correct. You got to reduce your calories. But simply saying that from a practical standpoint doesn't work. What I do with my clients is we dive a little deeper. Okay, we look at their lifestyle. We look at their life habits. We look at what they're doing, maybe for work, you know, what their relationships are like, other things going on. And then we look at their eating patterns. Sure enough, most of the time the eating is a coping mechanism. Okay? So instead of just saying, well, you don't eat less, duh, we find a strategy to slowly incorporate better eating habits slowly over time, so that way we're not completely eliminating a coping mechanism that the individuals likely relied on for several years, if not several decades, which is going to make dieting impossible for them to stick with. Impossible. Okay? Because guess what? Your diet may change, but the stress and all the other things don't. Okay? So by slowly incorporating better eating habits over time and finding other ways to cope with stress, maybe recreation, physical activity, maybe the exercise itself is enough to reduce a lot of that stress. We can create a plan to start to remove the good foods as a coping mechanism, implement better foods slowly over time in a way that eating correctly actually just becomes part of the individual's life. But you can't just drop a diet on them and say, hey, eat this. No. What I like to do is very slowly incorporate better eating choices over time. So what I like to do is I like to look at their current eating patterns. Generally with my clients, I say, show me what you eat. If it's horrible, I don't care. If your daily diet consists of nothing but cookies and ice cream, I don't care. Send it to me. And what I do is I look at my clients' eating habits and very slowly I make small adjustments to them. Hey, instead of this for lunch, why don't you, remove a little bit of this and add a little bit of this? They don't even notice. And then when you slowly get them used to this over time, now we're not putting them on a diet, we are changing their diet. That's what you need to do. You can't put somebody on a diet as if there's a means to an end. As if once they get in shape, I can go back to doing whatever the hell I want and my body's going to stay this way. No. Because if you put somebody on a diet, when they get to their desired body composition, they may not stick to it. So what we want to do is we want to change their diet. And we know people are not good with drastic changes. People like patterns, people like habits, people like routine. So that's kind of why I take a different approach to this. While it is as simple as reducing your calories, the practical application of that is far more complex. And this is what I do in my coaching program. We look at many aspects of the individual's life because it's, of course, physiologically, it is as simple as diet and exercise. Practically, we have schedules. We have busy work life. We have families. We have other obligations such as community obligations or church obligations or, friends. There's lots of other things going on. Practically implementing this is much more difficult. You can't expect an individual who's, say, 40 years old to completely change their diet and eliminate all these other patterns and responsibilities that they have to implement spending 2 hours getting to the gym, working out, commuting back home. It's just not practical. So that's why a very high intensity, very short duration, and very infrequent workout approach works for most people because there's too many other things going on. Combine that with slowly changing the individual's diet over time. I've had clients lose 150 pounds and keep it off. I've had clients lose 80 pounds, keep it off. And the reason is we made it part of their life. Granted, you're not losing 100 pounds in 90 days. It's going to take a year, possibly more. But when it's slowly coming off over time, that also keeps the individual motivated to stick with it. So, I've had a lot of my clients say they just don't feel like eating much. They don't feel like it. Why? Because they're not metabolically deranged anymore. They've improved metabolic efficiency. Their blood sugar is able to stabilize itself. So they're not having these huge raises and spikes in blood sugar, which is, driving them to the refrigerator or the pantry every 20 minutes. All right. So I think that's a far better approach to solving the obesity issue. Or if you're an individual who is obese, the trick is baby steps. Okay? It seldom works that you go on this drastic fitness journey because it's too much of a change for an individual to stick to. If you'd like a plan for solving your individual obesity problem, reducing body fat, getting stronger, improving your metabolism, improving everything about your health, and keeping it that way, click the link in the description, join my coaching, and I will personally guide you through it. We'll look at your diet, we'll implement a training, and we'll put everything together in a package or an approach that is sustainable forever. Not get ripped in 90 days, but here's an approach that you're going to be able to implement into your life almost as habit and stick with forever, so that way you get the results and you keep them. Okay? I've done this hundreds of times. If you want something that works, join me. Okay? Link in the description. Also, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification icon so you can be notified when I drop more videos that will help you get in the best shape of your life with the best health, efficiently and safely. See you next time.